The first lieutenant gubernatorial candidate to join us today on 4029 News on the Record is Attorney General Leslie Rutledge. Attorney General, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell our viewers in 1 minute why they should vote for you.
Absolutely. As the first woman and first Republican elected Attorney General over the last 7 years, I have a record of accomplishment, including making Arkansas the most pro-life state, defending our Second Amendment rights, defending all of our constitutional rights. And the last year alone, I've taken 60 plus legal actions against the Biden administration. That's the sort of record that Arkansans can rely on. As Lieutenant Governor, I want to make sure that all of Arkansas is growing like that in Northwest Arkansas, that children have choices in education, that parents do, to make sure that children have a first-class education. I'm going to work side by side my longtime friend, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and her gubernatorial administration to make Arkansas first. We want to make Arkansas first in jobs, rolling back taxes, making sure educational opportunities are there for all young people. This is my record of accomplishment as Attorney General, and I'm going to use that as the next Lieutenant Governor for the great state of Arkansas.
The current governor, Asa Hutchinson, is proposing a budget increase, citing in part that we need some extra money for teachers, developmentally disabled, and state troopers. We do have a budget surplus right now in Arkansas. Would this be your budget plan? How would it be different?
Well, I think it's important for us as we go into this fiscal session to look at our current budget, the needs. We absolutely want to make sure that our law enforcement, such as our state troopers, are being paid at a rate that is commensurate with the sacrifices they make. We simply can't say thank you enough to our brave men and women in blue. So I applaud the governor for supporting a salary increase for our state troopers, but we also need to look at all law enforcement. Likewise, our teachers. My mother is a retired special education teacher for 34 years. My sister-in-law is a public school teacher in Northwest Arkansas. Our teachers need to be on competitive salaries across the board. That being said, when we're talking about the business of the state of Arkansas, a $6 billion decision making, that we have to work collaboratively with our legislators, with the governor, the executive branch. And so I will be working not only alongside Governor Hutchinson, our legislators during this fiscal session to set forth that budget over the next couple of years.
Now, Attorney General, you are the most recent candidate to join the race for Lieutenant Governor after dropping out of the gubernatorial race a few months ago. Some of your opponents are accusing you of using the Lieutenant Governor seat to easily move up to the governor's position next election. What's your response to that?
Well, as I mentioned, I've been serving the people of Arkansas for the last 7 years as Attorney General. In that role, we have accomplished a great deal, making Arkansas the most pro-life state, cutting the budget at the Attorney General's office by over 10%. So I want to take those same conservative policies and accomplishments into the role of Lieutenant Governor. I work side by side Sarah Huckabee Sanders as our governor to make certain that we work with our legislators to continue promoting Arkansas. Just this past week, we had a great announcement for U.S. Steel coming to Northeast Arkansas. We want to see that sort of job growth across the state. Those who would challenge my credentials, I encourage them to look at my record and to look at my vision for the state of Arkansas.
How do we bring more jobs, and how do we support our small businesses?
Well, we have supported small businesses already over the last 7 years in the Attorney General's office by rolling back out-of-control regulations. In 2015 and 16 alone, I attacked the EPA's Waters of the U.S., the Department of Labor's overtime rule, which would have had a significant impact on small businesses across Arkansas. Those are the sort of actions that I've taken already as the Attorney General and that I will be advocating and doing as the Lieutenant Governor. Again, working side by side our legislators, our governor, to ensure that we have good Christian conservative policies in place for Arkansans in the future.
All right. Attorney General Leslie Rutledge is one of the lieutenant gubernatorial candidates running for the Republican Party. And we'll be back in just about 2 minutes with more. Welcome back to 40/29 News on the Record. Attorney General Leslie Rutledge is sitting down with us today. She is one of the Republicans running for lieutenant governor's seat in 2022. Leslie Rutledge is here with some of her questions to answer them. And Attorney General, some of your opponents are claiming to be the most conservative in the race for lieutenant governor. Would you say that you are the most conservative, and why?
Well, I believe that my record speaks for itself. Having defended wholeheartedly our pro-life laws in Arkansas, making Arkansas the most pro-life state for the second year in a row, we have defended our Second Amendment rights, our First Amendment rights, our religious liberty rights. I have a record of accomplishment when it comes to supporting, defending, and protecting our conservative values. Likewise, fiscally responsible. As the Attorney General, I cut the budget over 10%. That's the sort of conservative, responsible actions that we need to have in all levels of government. We need a lieutenant governor who will preside over the Senate, be a leader for the state of Arkansas, encourage job growth, encourage more school choice, lower taxes, work collaboratively with Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, as well as supporting all Arkansans.
What would you say are the top two most important social issues to Arkansans today?
In terms of social issues, I believe Arkansas is the most pro-life state. That is very important to Arkansans. We also want to make sure that we are looking out for school choice for parents, to give parents more of an opportunity to have a say-so in their child's education. Our social issues are important to our economic issues. They all go hand in hand. And so we want to make sure that when we are encouraging people to come to Arkansas, to move into Arkansas and have that sort of growth that we've seen in Northwest Arkansas, we want to see that in Southwest Arkansas, Southeast and Northeast Arkansas. All of Arkansas should have that same sort of growth. The reason why people move to Arkansas is because of our values, because of our economic opportunities, our educational opportunities, opportunities for families to enjoy the natural state. These things are important to families as they look to move to Arkansas, and that's why we have to have them at the forefront.
Well, we thought COVID-19 was going away for just a little bit, at least getting better, but now we're seeing another surge, and we just keep seeing different variants. And at what point do we come up with these mandates for vaccinations per se and mask mandates at school? We're already seeing them in some districts.
Well, as the Attorney General, I am part of lawsuits on behalf of the state of Arkansas that are challenging President Joe Biden's vaccine mandates with regard to the OSHA requirement vaccine mandate, the CMS, and the federal contractor. We have had some victories at lower court levels. We're taking those have been taken to the U.S. Supreme Court. We are currently awaiting decisions by the U.S. Supreme Court on that. So rather than just simply sending out fiery tweets, I've been taking action on behalf of the state of Arkansas to protect Arkansans' rights. I have personally received the vaccine as well as the booster. I encourage people to talk to their doctor, to talk to their medical providers to determine whether or not it's right for them.
Do you think that local school districts should have the jurisdiction and the right to mandate masks?
Well, again, I am as the Attorney General, we are part of a lawsuit involving that specific issue. We will be taking that issue on appeal from the circuit judge's decision, Circuit Judge Fox here in Pulaski County. And it's important that people understand that my role as the Attorney General is to defend the law of the state of Arkansas. We have seen, unfortunately, that with the Omicron variant and the Delta variant, that these numbers continue to spread. The Omicron variant has spread exponentially. We encourage people to continue to be safe, to be smart, again, to talk to their medical providers.
All right, Attorney General Leslie Rutledge, thank you so much for joining us. Lieutenant Governor candidate for the Republican Party.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.